there is a listing of all the documents, all the things that the county and the state said, and you'll read down a line and you look at a date, and then you go to the next item, and it's sometimes the next day or a day or so later or less than a month later, and it's completely different and in opposition to what they said earlier. And then they go back and switch to a third thing. There's been no continuity on this thing the whole time. And as a result, SpeedWorld has gotten the shaft. That's what it boils down to. Now, we're on state trust land. Who is the state, people?
We are.
You are. That's right. You are the state. I don't mean that in the sense of the communist and the fascist term of the state. I'm not talking about that. But you are the people of the state of Arizona. You're the people who pay taxes. Do you know your tax dollars have paid for their attorneys to fight us? Think about it. Where do county and state attorneys get their funding from? From tax dollars. You paid the dollars that put our coffin in the ground. You didn't mean to, but that's the way it happened. The amount of money Dan has spent over the last 5-6 years is a staggering sum. It's money that could have very easily gone into a huge range of improvements at the track. There are some people who have been whining about lack of improvements. Well, there it is. The basic lawyer stuff is $10,000 a month. That's if they don't go to a meeting. That's just, you know, try absorbing that over a period of 5 or 6 years and see where it gets you. Plus all the studies. SpeedWorld is on state trust land that has 2 unique things about it that keep it, we think, from being much of value to anybody except what we're using it for. We're in what is known as the Luke Overfly Zone. It was something, I don't know exactly when it was created, what, 2004, Benjamin, something like that, 2004, rammed down the throats of the people in that part of the valley, for the most part, overwhelmingly against their wishes. And it says that, okay, this is an area where if a plane from Luke has a problem, it might go down or whatever. I'm not sure. It was also part of protecting the legacy that is Luke. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to lose Luke Air Force Base. The military has been an important part of Arizona history. We value each and every one of them as we do our troops who are overseas today that can't be with us. I had an email from a guy serving overseas who heard about the rally. He said, man, I wish I could be here today. That was tough. So, the Luke Overfly Zone is most of the drag strip, the corner that's the drag strip, but because of it applies to the whole property. We're also in a floodplain. You know what a floodplain is? It's an area that might flood sometime and that water has to be controlled. We have a wash running through it. You come to the drag strip, you know, you kind of dip down there, and when it's been raining, you have to wade through there. That's a wash that sometimes has been as high as the walls of the motocross track. I mean, you don't want to even try and cross that wash. So, what else happens with a wash? Groundwater gets into a wash. That's why we can't have a housing development out on that particular piece of property. Really, you can't put a septic tank in the ground where there is a wash running through it because it will contaminate the groundwater. So 2 good reasons why SpeedWorld is the perfect choice of venues, whatever you want to say, for the ground that we're sitting on. Now, let's get into some of the other reasons. Let's talk about the tax revenue. Tax revenue is generated to the county and the state. Let's talk about the money to the immediate surrounding community. Our nearest town, actually, of any significance, not significance, sorry, poor choice of words, any size, is Surprise. The Surprise Hotel Association, which includes only hotels within the city of Surprise, estimates that SpeedWorld, by its events, generates $1 million a year for their members. Now, that's not, that's a lot of money. And that means jobs for people in our community, too. The people that work at those hotels. It means tax revenue. All the businesses, all the restaurants, the gas stations, all that sort of thing. They all contribute. We are there, they benefit. Now, as far as business goes, I know we have some people here today who are in business in this state and this community who have a business directly related to what we do out at SpeedWorld. Some of them are motorcycle involved, motorcycle manufacturers and motorcycle accessory companies and all the motorcycle shops. Remember, SpeedWorld has motocross, sand drags, used to have RC airplanes, 27 years they were there. Paintball, a Lucas oil track. I know we have some Lucas off-road fans here today. A lot of stuff gets generated. Jim Hughes, I'm hoping Jim Hughes can be here later on. wasn't able to get in touch with him in advance of the thing. He's trying to make it down. Hughes Performance. I know many of you guys use Hughes Performance products in your cars now. I do. I've got a Hughes converter. He's a nationwide, a worldwide supplier of parts to the performance industry. But SpeedWorld's important to him. He's always been a sponsor at SpeedWorld because he knows the local racers are still probably the ones that pay the rent. So, you have the business community, you have the small business community, you have the citizens who benefit. Remember the trickle-down economics? Starts at the top and works its way down through. That's all very important to everybody here. Then there's the fun factor. Number one, what do we get most out of SpeedWorld? We get a release from our daily, weekly, monthly jobs and humdrum. We go out to ride our dirt bikes. A safe release. A place where we know everybody's going the same direction on the motocross track instead of willy-nilly out in the desert. Anybody here ever known somebody who was involved in a head-on collision out riding?
Yeah.
Oh man, I have friends who have died in that situation. SpeedWorld gives those people a place to go and something to do. And it's a reasonable thing. We do all they ask, except turn the cell phone off when you want it to. There we go. We are in complete compliance with the dust regulations of Maricopa County. Dust is an issue here, you know. I love the rumor that was going around that SpeedWorld was being shut down because we were the major source of valley fever in the Phoenix area. I thought that was pretty good.
Drag racing
That one got my attention. That was on the Standard 1320. Steve Barczyk, one of our promoters, does the Pontiac Heaven event. If you want anything for an old Pontiac, this is the man. I mean, anything. He either has it or knows where you can get it. But his point about the drag strip safety, okay? We don't want illegal street racing. It kills people. It destroys lives. You come to SpeedWorld, you can run cars like this. You can have fun. I guarantee you, everybody who races here, their families are involved. This isn't just, you know, the dad going out by himself on the weekends. This is the whole family coming to the races. Ron and his family came to the ET finals at Bakersfield this year and let us hang out in their pit area. Ron and his girlfriend and his mom came along. They're always there at the track, you know. They come as a family. The family that plays together stays together. You know that. Yes. Okay. Nancy Bong met her husband out at SpeedWorld. How's that? Let's have 1, 2, 3. Aww, that is awesome, you know. That's a good point, exactly. It's a social thing. We're providing a service in that respect.
I got a question.
Sure, question.
My girlfriend's youngest boy, 5 years old.
His girlfriend's youngest boy is 5 years old.
Where am I supposed to take him? You guys are the only complex around that has a mini track.
Right, we have a mini cycle track. We have a place where kids can learn to ride their motorcycles safely with, you know, people on hand to take care of the situation.
Right.
Now what's going to happen? Forgetting the drag strip for a moment, we know what'll happen there. What about all these kids who've been coming to SpeedWorld, not just kids, adults, who they still want to ride? Yeah, right there. There's a future one right there, and right there. They want a place to ride. That means they're going to have to go to the desert. Guess what? They're still on state trust land 90% of the time. So has the state accomplished anything by closing a legal facility that allows people to recreate? No. They're forcing them onto other state land. The state is saying they want all motorsports activity off of state land. The reasoning for this, and it was a tragedy, I'm sorry it happened. Apparently a young man had a quad accident out in the desert, rode down a mine shaft or something. It was $1 million lawsuit. Okay? It's not a reason to stop what's going on at a valid, licensed, legitimate operation like SpeedWorld, sir.
How many mine shafts do you have on your track?
The last time I noticed, we're out of mine shafts. I think we filled them. Yeah.
Control.
Yeah. Politicians, most, no. But the thought has crossed my mind. We have some good people working for us in that office. I will say that. I've been very happy that our two state representatives for our particular area and our state senator have really tried in the last 2 weeks especially to go to bat for us and try to bring about awareness of what's going on. So far it hasn't worked out. That's why we're here today. Well, their state senator has quite a bit of pull, but there's one problem. A state senator works within the state. And his secretary, real nice lady, told me, he says, you know, Hal, we're on your side on this. But as state officials, our access to and ability to affect change in the county is somewhat limited. How many people here who were drag racers remember the late Bob Curley? A lot of people. Big, tall guy, about 15 feet high, blonde, ponytail, attitude, ex-top fuel driver, ex-U.S. serviceman. Bob was a gruff guy, but he had a heart of gold down there. If you got to talking with him, it was often quite an experience. And he told me one time, he says, Hal, I'll leave out some of the X-rated words. He said, Hal, if you ever get an issue with government, the last one you want to get in touch with, you want to have anything to do with, is the county. I said, the county? No, the state. He said, no, the county. County supervisors think they are the boss, period. They think what they say goes. They think they're representing us. I think we have a couple of really good county supervisors, but it's a group of, what, 7, 8, something like that. I'm not especially happy, and this is coming personally from me right now, Hal Sanguinetti. I'm not exactly happy with Max Wilson and his involvement in this whole deal. He has done window dressing by sending out an email saying, we couldn't shut SpeedWorld down if we wanted to. We just have some minor issues we've been trying for 3 years to work on. Those issues he talked about were less than 2 months old. They had not brought them up. They bring different issues up every single time we go to them. They lie to us. They have lied to us. The National Open, NHRA National Open is supposed to be last week. I know some of you were planning on racing. A lot of people coming from all over the western United States. And there's other events that won't happen because of that too. With 3 days to go, the county said, we'll give you the TUP, the temporary use permit, if the state says it's okay. Okay? The state says, we can't give you the permit until, or we can't say okay until the county gives you the permit. What do they call that? Catch-22? That delayed thing for a week or so. Finally, they get down to the nitty-gritty. The state said, yes, we will sign off on this agreement, which was a deal to allow SpeedWorld to have 30 race days. During those days, we could run drag racing, motocross, anything. 30 race days gives us a chance to get some funds, to clean the place up, close out our business, run out the season. They accepted that. At one point, the county also accepted that. We have this document now. State says, yeah, okay, we're okay with this. Take it to the county. They lied to us. They said, no, we're not going to give you a permit. We never agreed to that. That's not what we agreed to. Is that the kind of people you want representing you? No, it's not. The problem is those people aren't elected. They're bureaucrats. And they're worse than the people who are elected sometimes because they want to protect their little cocoon, their little desk area. So it's just, these people don't count. Well, I think we count. I think there's a lot more people that SpeedWorld affects than are here today. Yes? Big time, yeah. I mean, I would have loved to have had 1,000 people here, but I don't care. I've got this group of people that love our facility, that know what's going on, and they're here trying to support us. Now, yeah, and they're still coming in, exactly. Oh, Model B 4-cylinder, little hot rod. What, 32 coupe, something like that? Oh, this is great. Would you folks back there find a place for them to park over there behind us in the back area there? I want to keep this open for spectators.